Welcome to the Bubble Lounge. I'm Martha Jackson, and today my BFF, Christy Weitzel, is joining us. Christy, thank you for being here today.
So glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, we have a lot to discuss. I woke up at 3 a.m. this morning and couldn't get back to sleep. I've had way too much caffeine. My hands are shaking, and I'm starting to break out in a sweat. And
I think that's hormones.
and I'm in a mood. So we're going to kind of go on some rants today.
Honestly, I'm a little hopped up on coffee as well. So this should be a really fun show.
Well, yeah, definitely will make for an interesting conversation. Well, we have a lot to cover today. We both just recently went to our daughter's parents' weekend at college. So there's a lot to talk about there and just kind of comparing to how it was back in our day at OU. And we have homecoming to discuss and just how over the top that's become. And then what inspired this whole episode, we're going to talk about tipping and all the people that want to tip out there.
Yes, I have a story on that.
So the reason I invited Christy today is because we always have a good time talking and laughing anyways. But back in the day, in the .com era, she had this business called listenhoney.com. And so I just thought she'd be perfect to rant with me today. Tell us about Listen Honey.
Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. We used to write anonymous letters on your behalf addressing bad behaviors, poor hygiene, and they all started with "Listen, honey." Someone that knows you has called to our attention you have a flatulence problem. And we would send them an anonymous letter addressing that issue or whatever, an issue with a coworker or poor behavior, rudeness, whatever it was. And we would send them, let's say it was bad breath. We would send them an anonymous letter with a little tube of toothpaste that had listenhoney.com on it. And I feel like it's about time to bring that back, actually.
I was actually just thinking I'm glad that it's not around right now.
Well, the fun part is, let's say I sent you a letter and you would be like, I can't believe my husband sent me this letter. And then he would send it to someone who he thought. And so I got to see all the background of who thought, of the trail of who they thought sent the letter.
Oh, very mysterious. That's pretty funny. Well, you were actually on a game show talking about it. That was a memory, right?
That was so much fun. I was on To Tell the Truth. And so there was myself and then two imposters of me. And the panel of actors had to guess who the real Christy Weitzel was.
That's right.
It was like Paula Poundstone, Meshack Taylor, and Angie Everhart were the
celebrities.
Yes, the celebrities that were guessing.
Gosh. I mean, just think how far your little business took you.
Oh,
that's so much fun.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Well, we've got a lot to cover today, so we'll be back in a moment. I wanted to give a personal thank you to our good friend and show sponsor, Kathy L. Wall State Farm Agency. We have known Kathy for more than 15 years, and there is no person we trust more when it comes to insurance than Kathy L. Wall. Kathy is always available to help you find the right insurance for your family needs. Whether it's covering your home, auto, or providing a life insurance policy tailored to the unique needs of families in Highland Park. My family trusts Kathy with our insurance, and we hope you will too. Please visit kathylwall.com to learn more and let her know that Martha from the Bubble Lounge sent you. All right, Christy, let's get to it. Let's start with Parents' Weekend, and somebody's calling me. Oh, it's Alexis. Hang on just a second. Hi,
You're on the
sweetie.
Bubble Lounge.
What's going on?
Oh, I finally got vinegar and baking soda to clean my moldy Stanley, but I forgot the instructions and how do you take off that top part.
Okay. Would it be okay if I called you back? You're actually live on the Bubble Lounge. You want to say hi?
Oh, no.
And guess who my guest is today?
Who is it?
Christy.
Your favorite godmother.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, sweetheart. I'm good. I'm here to vent with your mom today. We're telling all kinds of embarrassing stories about you.
We're about to.
I just kind of outed myself with the moldy water bottle situation.
Well, we're about to talk about Parents' Weekend. Is it okay if I call you right after?
Of course.
Okay. Love you. Bye. That's the first time I've ever taken a live call on here. Okay, Parents' Weekend. You had yours a week ago at TCU. How was it?
Okay, it was so much fun. And it was, I have to say, I have to give it to the girls. It was very well organized. But it was hotter than hell. And every second was planned.
Yeah.
There was like very little downtime.
Right. Yeah, well, that sounds familiar, very familiar. I mean, the itinerary, I knew I was already exhausted before I got there.
Exactly. Exactly, because it was 2 days. Well, actually, it was 3 days of activities. The third day was a breakfast at the sorority house, which was great. We didn't go to it.
You opted out of it?
We opted out of it.
Oh, well, that happens. Well, I mean, it's just changed so much since you and I were at OU. Ours, we had mom's weekend and dad's weekend, but I think parents usually came together unless they were divorced.
Yes, I remember that. And it was the major thing was a football game, and then we had Sooner Scandals, the talent show the night before, and that was so much fun. But there was a lot of downtime. I remember, time for lunch with my parents and shopping, and I'm sure they still find time for that. But it just seems like things are way more scheduled, so much more going on, and a lot fancier too.
Oh my gosh, so fancy. I mean, they're like at legit venues. Ours was at a really pretty venue, and it was partially outdoor and partially indoor. It had like a legit country band that was really good. Bar, food, photo ops, all the stuff.
Oh, how fun. Ours was very similar to that. It was at a bar in Fort Worth, and we did it with a fraternity, or they did it with a fraternity, and it was super crowded, super fun. It was great to catch up with a lot of familiar faces, and a lot of fun. It was exhausting, though. I mean, it took me a couple of days to recover from all the activities, and also not to mention the heat. That was my other thing. I don't ever remember it being so hot for Parents' Weekend.
Well, hopefully if they picked a better time of year, not still the hot time of year.
I wish they would.
I don't remember what month it was in, but I remember there was a ton of downtime. Everything wasn't planned. But yeah, we were pretty hot too, and I was told at UT for the games, you need to wear a maxi dress or a long skirt. Like, shorts are not an option.
Oh, my goodness.
So I had on a long cotton dress, and I kept, like, pulling it up and airing out at the game.
Yes. That's kind of similar. I mean, I think that even speaking with my daughters, I think that football games have become a fashion show.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like when we were in college, we wore shorts and an OU T-shirt.
Probably.
Exactly.
That's still, by the way, what the OU fans are wearing. Like, whenever we go to OU, Texas, the Texas girls are like this bevy of beauties, these supermodels walking out, and our people have the OU shirts on with the shorts. So no dresses over there.
It's actually kind of nice, I think.
They aren't as hot. Finding an oral surgeon is hard enough for yourself, and when it comes to your kids, it can feel impossible. We suggest our friends at Stewart and Arango because from emergencies to wisdom teeth and everything in between, they have you covered. Stewart and Arango are board certified with MDs who specialize in full scope oral, facial, and implant surgeries for both children and adults. Not only is their office state of the art, they lead the industry with the most advanced techniques and procedures. And when it comes to safety, they are pediatric and adult advanced life support certified and use a 3-day local anesthesia, which keeps you comfortable while limiting the use of opioids. Best part is, they're conveniently located at Northwest Highway and Hillcrest Avenue. So if you want the best of Big D caliber oral care, come see the friendly staff at Stewart and Arango. To learn more about them or book your appointment, visit saoralsurgeons.com. That's saoralsurgeons.com.
Yeah.
Well, so have you ever listened to the podcast I've Had It With?
Yes, those girls are brilliant.
I think they're so funny. Well, in every episode, they go on different rants about different things. So I thought we could kind of copy them today.
Let's do it.
Well, I know it. You go first. What have you had it with?
Oh, goodness.
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay, you go first.
I've had it with people taking their dogs everywhere.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I see so many dogs on leashes at the mall, and I don't understand why. And I love dogs. I own 2. You would never see me take my dogs to the mall.
I agree with you 100%. I see more dogs in grocery stores, restaurants, everywhere I go. And, not necessarily the most well-behaved. A lot of them are the little yippy ones that, and that's not what I want to hear when I'm eating at a restaurant on a patio.
Not at all.
or and also traveling. Everybody has a support dog.
Yes.
And there's so many more dogs on planes, and it just makes me feel so bad for the precious little animals, because that they're hating life being stuffed underneath a chair that has 1 cubic foot of space for them. So,
well, sometimes they're not in their container, because one got out on one of our flights, and the flight attendant was hilarious. All of a sudden, he got on the speaker. He goes, "Excuse me, is anyone missing a poodle?" And I was like, "Oh my God!" Then it ran under our feet.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It was hilarious.
That's pretty funny.
But recently, I was at La La Land, and this man had this big, very hairy dog in there, and it wasn't even on the leash. The leash was in the dog's mouth.
Oh,
and it was it was walking around,
taking himself for a walk.
Yeah, it literally stepped over my legs, and the man just sat there and watched. He didn't say "I'm sorry" or "get it back," or he didn't care.
That's crazy. Yeah, I kind of had it with that too. Exactly.
Well, one last thing on that. I was at the mall recently, and there was a lady with those clear backpacks with the bubble in it, and there's usually a cat in there. There was a bird in it.
Oh.
I even have a picture that I'll show you.
That's something I have never seen. Why do you need to take your bird to the mall?
Emotional support.
I guess so. That's crazy.
I know, it is crazy. Well, one other thing that I'm kind of done with is all the national days. It was just National Daughters Day, followed by National Sons Day. We have a National Podcast Day.
Yes, and I feel like a failure as a mother, because I did not post any cute pictures for National Daughters Day. But don't you think, Martha, that it's one mom just saying, "I'm going to make today National Daughters Day," and see who jumps on this bandwagon? I swear I think it's one person that just throws it out there on Facebook, and then the mothers of sons are like, "Oh, no, we can't forget our son." So then I feel it's not even a real thing. But I feel like Facebook has so many fake holidays.
Yeah, because they all started about the time that Facebook started, right?
Yes, exactly. And you know me, I'm not a big poster. And so whenever I see these things, it gives me tremendous mom guilt. And I am so over that.
I know. I feel guilty for not recognizing and showing my love online to a bunch of strangers with my kids. But the main reason
don't even know you.
Right. I'm sure they're judging me right now, and you too.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
But the main reason I didn't is both of my kids don't like any photos that they've ever taken. So if I posted something, I would be contacted almost immediately and asked to remove it.
Yes, I agree with you on that. But then also there's there's such little privacy left in our lives.
Yeah.
And I kind of just don't want to share every moment of my family out there. But on the flip side of that, I'm a big hypocrite, because I love to see everybody else's photos, and I know that my extended family would love for me to post more, because that's their way of kind of keeping in touch with the girls. Sure. But yes, I am with you 100% on the fake holidays.
I want to let you in on a little secret. My husband, Sean, is a lousy handyman around the house. I leave him notes all the time, and he never seems to have time to take care of even the simplest home maintenance task. That's why I am so excited to introduce you to Manorly, a concierge home maintenance service that you can rely on. Manorly takes the time to handle all your home maintenance issues, from routine house chores like pool cleaning to replacing AC equipment during an emergency. They can help handle it all. What I really like about Manorly is they are the single point of contact for any home maintenance work or remodeling that needs to be done. They not only employ professional handymen, they also have in-house licensed electricians, painters, and carpenters providing quality service that will exceed your expectations. Guaranteed. And best of all, they manage all of your home service providers, so you don't have to worry about scheduling or managing their services. Manorly has you covered. So if you are tired of trying to manage all the services you need for your home, contact our friends at Manorly.com.
One thing that I've kind of had it with is everything is so over the top now, and the pressure for parents is ridiculous. And the one example I can think of is Homecoming.
Yeah.
When did that become such a production? And my other question is, why do these kids have to ask their dates in May or June for the following October?
I have no idea. Again, it's that one mom that we're talking about that started National Daughters Day and Sons Day. You know,
Well, she had to book the bus 6 months in advance and start with the monogram sashes for the girls' bouquets and she had to start party planning for the pre and after party for homecoming for these kids.
Okay, we're going to have to make up a name for this woman. You know, Karen is already taken, so we're going to have to come up with something else. But yeah, I was asked just last night from a lady that does floral in our neighborhood. She does a lot of the homecoming bouquets. She said, I'm getting a lot of questions from freshman moms that are freaking out about all the details, and you need to do a whole podcast on homecoming. But let's just talk about that a little bit more. You do not have to get the damn monogrammed ribbon, guys.
Oh, my goodness.
That became a trend, I think, a couple of years ago.
Yes.
And she said that was like the number one question she's getting is they feel like they have to get it.
No, you don't have to do anything. That's what all these moms, having girls that are out of high school, you really don't have to do any of it. But there's such a pressure that makes you, it's like FOMO for our age.
Yeah, for sure.
Or you just don't, there's just such a pressure to keep up with everybody else's standards. And it's not necessary. Your child will live without a monogrammed bow on their $300 bouquet that they're going to hold for one picture and then toss it aside.
That is what's so annoying is they literally hold it for a photo and then they give it to their mom. And they probably never see it again.
Yes, exactly. And I feel bad for all these boy moms that have to deal with this.
Well, speaking of the flower part, Alexis's first year, her freshman year, I forgot to order the boutonniere.
Oh, my goodness.
And her date's mom.
Bad mom.
Is like type quadruple A, would never make a mistake like that. I felt so bad. I literally thought I was going to cry right in front of everyone when I realized I screwed up.
Oh, no. Well, I have the opposite end of that. So Hannah's homecoming date mom forgot to order hers, and where the girls went to school, they didn't do the bouquets. They still did the traditional wrist corsages. Yes. And this mom was so horrified. She went out and attempted to make it herself the day of.
What did it look like?
She did a really nice job, actually, but it weighed like 20 pounds on her wrist. It looked like a bouquet on Hannah's wrist because, she's not a florist and she chose like regular size roses. And I think Hannah had a dozen roses on her wrist. It was pretty funny, but I'll remember that just because it was a laughable moment.
Oh my God. Well, that tops my boutonniere story. That's pretty funny. Are you looking to hire a nanny? Then you need to contact HelloNanny.com. Trying to find a nanny on your own takes a lot of time. Sure, you can ask friends or scour Facebook groups for a referral. But then what? You still need to vet them, and that takes time and skill. That's why we recommend HelloNanny.com, because they take the guesswork out of finding the perfect childcare match. With more than 20 years of experience, HelloNanny.com vets every candidate for you, using a proven process that has helped other families in the Park Cities find the perfect nanny for their family. But they don't just help you find a nanny. HelloNanny.com walks you through every facet of managing a domestic worker, making sure you know all the rules and regulations. So if you're considering hiring a nanny, go with the experts and visit HelloNanny.com or call them at 844-266-2669 and let them help you take the guesswork out of finding the perfect nanny for your family. Well, I am just so happy that we don't do mums here in Highland Park.
Oh, my gosh.
Have you seen what they've become?
Yes. I thought they were huge when you and I were in high
school.
They were
so obnoxious in our day.
Yes. And
Martha, they just keep going.
Yes. Martha and I were both in, we went to high school in Fort Worth, separate high schools, but we knew each other. And both of our high schools wore crazy mums. And it was like it was almost the same as these beautiful bouquets with the monogram ribbon. It was like whoever had the bigger mums, and especially if you had a stuffed animal in the middle of it and the mum covered your entire chest, you were kind of the it girl back then. I feel, so the pressure is the same, but different now, for these poor boy moms.
Oh, I know for sure. But how distracting to wear one of those. And they always had cowbells on them.
Oh, yes. They had the cowbells and the ribbons. And it was, and if a lot of the girls would request the fake flowers so that they could hang them on their walls. And they
See.
would last forever and ever and ever.
Oh, I had the real flowers that just rotted on the wall. But that seemed to be the norm at my high school. Like every high school girl had rotten flowers on
On their walls.
How gross is
That's
that?
hilarious. My high school, they used the fake flowers because they
Okay,
wanted
I
every
think that's
girl.
better.
Well, yeah, we all wanted to hang them as a piece of art on our wall. We had several from different years.
Well, yeah, it was like a badge of honor, you know,
Exactly.
especially when you got the.
But yes,
really-
it still happens today, and they've even gotten larger. Like it almost
know.
takes two people to wear one mom. So again, that's something that's kind of gotten out of hand and
It's
over the top ridiculous.
gotten way out of hand. And, you know, it seems like you go to all this effort, you spend all this money buying the dress and getting ready and all the stuff, and they stay at the dance for 10 minutes, get a few
I was
photos.
just going to say that.
No
they don't
way.
even stay at the dance.
I
They
know.
do the pre-party at one parent's house, then the bus picks them up, and then they go to the dance for literally, like you said, 10
Yeah.
minutes. And then another parent hosts a huge after party, and it lasts till God knows when. But yes, so it's kind of a shame that they don't like actually go to the dance
I
and
know.
enjoy homecoming.
I know. It's
you
so
know,
crazy.
it's what's kind of feels like what's the purpose? It would
Yeah.
be more inclusive if everybody stayed in one spot.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, well, these after parties, I've actually never hosted one. But my takeaway is you have to have the big metal letters that spell out HOCO 24 or you know.
Or the big balloon.
the big
the
balloon
big balloon
arches.
arches. Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Exactly.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, it has all gotten out of hand. Well, you know, we shared our homecoming tips. Let's talk about tipping because I know you and I both have a big rant about this.
Oh my goodness. Everyone has a handout. And I don't understand. Oh, I guess this happened after COVID.
Yeah.
But the tip of the iceberg was last week. I met you at a shopping event, and it was a charity event where you had to pay to get in and shop, and it's always a wonderful production. But you and I went to a specific booth, and we purchased some jewelry cleaner. And when we paid, the girl wanted a tip. And I was thinking, wait, you want me to pay you extra because I'm buying your product? I just didn't see how that made any sense to me. And the tip didn't start at like 10%. It started, I think, at 22% and went up.
Oh, my God.
And so,
I didn't even look. I was so mad when I saw that. I just pushed no.
I know. I pushed no as well. But that's my other thing, too, is a lot of these restaurants will start at 22%. When did that happen?
I don't know. I missed that one.
Exactly. I just feel like everywhere you go, everyone wants a tip. And I understand, you know, if you provide a good service, I am happy to tip well. In fact, I do tip well on good service at restaurants. But if it's crappy service, I'm going to give you a crappy tip.
Yeah, sure, sure.
You have to earn it. I mean, I have to earn my money for a living. So I feel like other people should too.
Well, you know, when Christy and I bought this jewelry cleaner, the way that they lured you into their booth is they literally were demonstrating how the product worked. And we all put our rings in.
We were suckers when we bought it.
Well, they did such a good demo. You know, our rings literally have never looked more pretty, right?
And yours is still sparkly, by the way.
They were so dazzling. Well, you got to use your product. And so they sat there and cleaned them. And I guess that's what they wanted the tip for. But we bought the damn product. There's no reason we should have tipped.
I agree 100%.
Well, I just think that the whole concept of tipping is weird to me because you're placing basically a job review in the hands of the masses instead of the employer.
That's
You
true.
know?
I never really thought about it that way, but it's true. And I don't understand a tip at restaurants where you walk to the counter and you order and then you go back up and you pick up your food. I
Right.
mean,
You're doing
people,
all the work.
yeah, you're not being served for
Right.
a tip. And, you know, minimum wage is up. So everybody, but it's not just the food industry. It's really literally every industry is asking for a tip now.
Yeah, I know. I don't get it. I don't know how we got here. I don't know when we got to 22% either. And I don't know. So, Christy, you really have some strong opinions about this, don't you?
Yes.
What are your guidelines? What are your tips for tipping?
Oh, that's a good question. My tips for tipping. Okay, so when I run in to grab a coffee and it's a $5 coffee, I don't necessarily feel like I have to always tip, but there's that part of you when they turn the screen around and it says tip and you feel guilty or cheap if you don't do it. But if you're running in for a $5 coffee, which costs 30 cents to make, I don't always feel necessary unless it's a place that I frequent and I'm constantly giving good service. Then I think it's appropriate to tip on that.
Yeah, right. If you know you're going to go back and you've kind of formed a relationship with the staff there, you definitely want to tip well.
Yes, but I think I think we should coin the term guilt tipping, because that, they do these workers behind the counter, they guilt tip you. And, I think I mentioned COVID earlier, but during COVID, we tipped the service workers because they couldn't work.
Right.
And that was, everybody was caring and generous, and they wanted to keep their restaurants and their workers in business. And then it's just kind of continued. And we're back to business as normal. And I feel like tipping should go back to business as normal as well.
You know who has made that the thing? It's that Facebook mom, the National Daughter's Day lady. I mean, she just keeps coming into the picture.
We have got to think of her name, Martha. That would be really fun to name her, although we would offend someone, I'm sure.
Well, you had to make up a name that nobody has. Griselda.
Griselda.
I don't know.
No,
that doesn't work.
It could be.
Okay, we'll brainstorm on that. We'll get back with you.
Martha, I just had one other thought of things that are annoying is the amount of pictures that we take in our generation, but also the younger kids. Everything is photographed and Instagrammed and so forth. And I know for me, I have no memory left in my phone. Like I can't store one more thing. I've got to go through and start deleting all the apps and the large files and all this. And it's all because of the photos that exist, which I never go back and look at.
I know. Why do we take so many things? And then I used to take full-on concert videos when I'd go to a concert. There's a full Motley Crue concert on my phone.
Have you gone back? How many times have you gone back and watched that?
Constantly, daily.
Okay, well, so then that's worth it. But that is probably taking up half the storage on your phone.
Yeah.
Well, and then we pay for extra storage. So we're basically tipping.
Back to the tipping.
For extra storage on our phones.
Yeah, we're tipping Apple to keep us going here.
Exactly.
And it's just when people get storage units, they filled up their house with all their crap and they don't have any more room for it, then they go pay for a storage unit.
Oh, I know.
That is the biggest waste of money.
That is the biggest waste of money because storage is not cheap. I just helped one of my clients find a storage unit and a storage service while we were remodeling their house. And it was, by the time we paid for all of that, they could have bought an entire house of new furniture. So it just, sometimes it's better just to let go and buy new.
Just start all over.
Exactly.
Well, you have shared some really good tips today, and this has been fun. I mean, I'm still shaking from too much caffeine, but I feel like I'm in a better mood now.
Well, me too. I always love coming on the Bubble Lounge and ranting with you, so anytime.
Well, thank you for taking the time out of your day today. That's been another episode of the Bubble Lounge. I'm Martha Jackson. I'll see you next time.